news update?
Yeah, man.
Listen to Citizen FM 93.7 Abuja.
Now listen.
News on the hour, 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., and 11 a.m., 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m., and 5 p.m. News at noon, 12 noon. News from across the states, 4 p.m. And our major news at 6 p.m. Citizen FM 93.7. Always precise in news broadcast. Looking for the...
And United States approves respiratory syncytial virus. President Muhammadu Buhari has eulogized the armed forces of Nigeria for coming up with a robust initiative aimed at developing viable projects for efficient military operations. The president gave the compliment at the commissioning ceremony of a secured communication network for the armed forces project nicknamed Giwa 2 project in Mogadishu Cantonment in Abuja. According to the president, the project Giwa 2 is designed to provide secure means of communications, real-time instant reporting, as well as information exchange between the AFN and other security agencies, and to bring about enhanced collaboration between defense intelligence and the entire security community. He added that the project will provide a platform for the denial of freedom of action by all perpetrators of insecurity across the country. Federal government has established a National Science and Technology Park and Science Museum to boost research and development in basic and research for economic and social development in Nigeria. The Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation, Dr. Olorunibe Momora, in his speech while laying the foundation for the National Science Park and Museum, said the facility will provide the linkage among the stakeholders, which absence had adversely affected the development of indigenous technology transfer. Mamora explained that this was even as the government signed a memorandum of understanding for development of the Science and Technology Park with a cross-Atlantic development United Kingdom through the public-private partnership. Senate has approved the request of President Buhari to restructure the 22.7 trillion naira loans that the Central Bank of Nigeria advanced to the federal government under its Ways and Means policy. The Ways and Means provision allows the government to borrow from the Apex Bank if it needs short-term or emergency finance to fund delayed government expected cash receipts or fiscal deficit. The Buhari government said it sought the loans when the country started experiencing a significant shortfall in revenue. West African Examinations Council, WAEC, has announced the date for the commencement of the 2023 school-based West Africa Senior School Certificate Examination. WAEC made this known at a pre-examination press briefing in Lagos State. The examination is expected to commence from Monday, May 8 to Friday, June 23rd. The head of National Office, Patrick Oregon, stated that a total of 1,621,853 candidates across 20,851 local government areas or government areas and private schools registered for the examination. Minister of Works and Housing Babatunde Fashola has asked the Senate Ad Hoc Committee to direct its inquiry on the 6 trillion naira unpaid ground rent to the Secretary of the Government of the Federation. Fashola stated this when the committee visited him in Abuja. The committee, chaired by Senator Adamu Alero, was mandated to probe and to recover the over 6 trillion naira accrued from the non-payment of ground rent from the property built and allocated to various beneficiaries by the federal government. The minister explained that the Presidential Implementation Committee that issued receipts on the property was under the purview of the SGF. Has said that unqualified persons in the teaching profession are not teachers but cheaters, stressing that unqualified teachers do not only cheat the pupils and students but also the system in its entirety. The Registrar, Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria, Professor Josiah Ajiboye, made the declaration at the signing of a memorandum of understanding with the South African-based educational organization Instill Education to upskill in-service teachers in Nigeria. Professor Josiah Ajiboye, who signed the document in company of his management team in Abuja, said a pilot phase of implementation of the MOU will soon commence with a capacity building for 8 weeks.
Nigeria that has the ISO certification. So it's not a small achievement, it's a very big thing. And with regards to our teachers, if you look at what we have said here today, 3 major components actually were identified. The pre-service teachers, even integrating pre-service with the service, with the in-service. That is part of what we have looked at: pre-service teachers, the in-service teachers, and their training programs. And we have been able to see that there is a gap, especially when you come to the pre-service. When you look at the pre-service, a large number of the teachers who are in private schools in Nigeria today are not qualified in the first instance to be called teachers. That is the thing. I've always reiterated this. We wanted to use a consultant to get revenue from teachers in private schools in the southwest in Nigeria. When you will think education is very... Look, when we carried out the survey, we discovered that 90-something% of the teachers in private schools in the southwest are not qualified at all. They are not registrable with the TRCN. So that is to tell you that there's a big gap there. Especially, you cannot even call them teachers. They are cheaters. You know, there's a difference between teachers and cheaters. Yes, if you are not a teacher, you must be a cheater. So these people are not registrable with TRCN because they don't possess the requisite qualification that will allow us to register them. So there's a big gap there. Instead, maybe looking in the future on how to fill that gap, like they are doing in South Africa. They may also, but the major component of this MOU is actually about the in-service teachers. How do we go about capacitating these in-service teachers, upskilling them? You know, like I said in my address, you know, a large number of these teachers have never been exposed to a single, a training program since they were employed. And they have been doing the same thing the same way. You know, they say teachers normally teach the way they are taught. The same way they have been, but whereas there are dynamics of the classroom, so many things are changing with regards to the classroom. And these teachers need to be exposed to new ways of doing things. And that's what Instill is coming with. They are coming with their expertise. They are coming with technology to be able to help us to do this kind of capacitation for our teachers. We've been talking over time about mandatory continuing professional development for teachers, where teachers are going to take certain capacity development program and they will get points. And this will count towards the renewal of their license as well as their promotion. This is the way to go. Ghana has started doing that. Nigeria cannot afford to wait. They are already using the point system for the renewal of license and promotion in Ghana. So this is the right way to go. And this is what we are thinking, that the benefits that we are going to derive from this huge MOU with Instill Education. And with regards to the number of teachers and the years, I'm very sure the experts in these areas will be able to mention when this MOU will last and the number of teachers that we are going to target within the period. But in the interim, I think the pilot phase is what we are going into now. After this, because this meeting is a 2-day meeting, tomorrow has been set aside the workability for the implementation of the pilot phase. We want to do about pilot with about 8,000, you said? For 8 weeks, okay. They want to do a pilot for about 8 weeks. And then when we finish this pilot, we'll be able to go to full blown. So let us just wait and see. There are a lot of potentials here. There are a lot of potentials in this MOU. And I'm very sure, like what UNESCO former SD said, Nigeria is going to benefit greatly from this. And please, I can assure you that if we need to expand this to beyond TRCN, and you want my minister, even before he leaves, May 26, the transition is May 29. He's going to leave office May 26. I know him. He has written his handover note. Even before then, if you want me to get him to approve anything, I'm very sure he will be willing to do that for TRCN anytime, any day. So once again, we really appreciate this, and I believe they will continue and they will answer all the questions. I have to be with the Minister of State. They are telling me that they are leaving. The team is leaving the presidency now, and they will be coming to the Ministry of Education. They have just called me.
Professor Ajiboye, however, noted that the council has registered over 2.3 million teachers on its database, pointing out that it has also developed the policy on career path for the profession and the professional standards for Nigerian teachers, which has been domesticated by Sierra Leone and adopted by the African Union for implementation in Africa. Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has asked the Federal High Court in Abuja to dismiss a suit by Minister of State for Labor and Employment, Festus Keyamo, seeking the probe and prosecution of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. Journalists report that the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Offences Commission made a familiar or similar call on the judge, James Omotosho. The minister, who was also a spokesperson for the Tinubu-Shettima Presidential Campaign Council, has filed his suit on 20th January, asking for an order compelling the EFCC, ICPC, and the Code of Conduct Bureau to probe and prosecute Atiku following claims by one of his ex-aides, Michael Achimogu, against him. The Association of Rural Electrification Contractors of Nigeria has called on the federal government under the incoming administration of Bola Tinubu to pay extra attention to the challenges in Nigeria's rural electricity sector. This is as it has also debunked reports of misdoings by the managing director of the Rural Electrification Agency, Ahmed Sahijo Ahmed, over allegations bordering on conflict of interest of his position as the managing director of REA. In a statement made available to journalists by the ARICON, the group maintained that since 2020, the Rural Electrification Agency, under its present leadership, has approached the business of electrification differently through a 5-year strategy document that has strengthened the internal workings of the agency by consistently improving its project delivery vehicles. And now to news on the foreign scene. United States of America has become the first country to approve the respiratory syncytial virus in the world. The senior U.S. Food and Drug Administration, Peter Marks, discloses in a statement that RSV is a common respiratory virus that usually causes mild cold-like symptoms. And he added that most people recover in a week or two, but RSV can be serious, especially for infants and older adults. United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization and the Nigerian government have entered into an agreement to implement the FAO Nigeria Country Programming Framework. The CPF is a 5-year agricultural project whose funds are drawn from the federal, state government, and local and international donors. The last RCPF in Nigeria started in 2018 and was terminated in 2022. The FAO representative in Nigeria and ECOWAS, Fred Kafiru, in his presentation during the agreement signing said the project is a medium-term priority area that focuses FAO work for the next 5 years. Former Manchester City defender Michael Richards has said he doesn't expect Pep Guardiola's side to win the treble this season. Richards said he is worried for Man City because of their oncoming Champions League semi-final, the tie against Real Madrid later this month. And that's about the size of the news, but before we go, a recap of the highlights. Federal government establishes Science Museum to boost research and development. Minister of Works urges Senate ad hoc committee to probe 6 trillion naira unpaid ground rent. And we told you on the foreign thing that the United States has approved respiratory syncytial virus. And that's the news at 6 is edited by Lawrence Omoete. To listen to us online, please visit citizenfm.ng. I am DDNO. To stay with us.
Looking for the best in news updates?
Yeah, man.
Listen to Citizen FM 93.7 Abuja.
Now listen.
News on the hour, 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., and 11 a.m. 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m., and 5 p.m. News at noon, 12 noon. News from across the states, 4 p.m. And our major news at 6 p.m. Citizen FM 93.7. Always precise in news broadcast. Al Ummah Orphans Foundation is opening a new orphanage at Dakwa Ibira Quarters in Abuja and needs your help. Our orphanage needs donations of clothes, furniture, food, books, and cash. No contribution is too small. Help us create a safe haven for orphans. You can send cash donations to Al Ummah Orphans Foundation, Jaiz Bank, with the account number 000-329-3195. Drop off in-kind donations at Uthman bin Affan Masjid, Wusaitu, Abuja, or at the orphanage. For more information, visit our website www.alummahorphans.org. Find us on Facebook and Instagram at Al Ummah Orphans. You can also call us on 0803